The 21st century isn't some polite chess game on the world stage. We're talking tectonic plates of power grinding up against each other, and the US-China rivalry is the fault line ready to erupt. Trade wars, island showdowns, threats hurled over Taiwan. This is the stuff that fuels conflict. Underneath it all thrums a desperate race for technological edge, and that's where the Lockheed Martin SR-72 takes center stage. Welcome to Tactical Cinema, your premier destination for military combat entertainment. Imagine a spy plane, but also a bomber, and way faster than the speed of sound. That's the SR-72. More than just hardware, it's about sending a message in a potential war. It can get anywhere, see anything, and strike before you even know it's there. It's about remaking warfare at breakneck speed. Echoes of the Blackbird, why speed has always been a weapon. To grasp the SR-72's potential, we need to understand where it comes from, the legendary SR-71 Blackbird. The Blackbird was a Cold War middle finger to the Soviet airspace, laughing at their missiles while flying 3 times faster than sound. Back then, the enemy's only hope was praying their missiles could even catch up. The SR-72 cranks up that attitude to 11, think Mach 5 plus. New York to LA in under an hour, that kind of insane speed. But, like the Blackbird, this isn't about joyrides, it's about defying modern defenses. Radar networks so complicated they make the human brain look simple. Missiles designed to outthink as they close in. The SR-72 is meant to slip through all that. Of course, the Blackbird era ended. It was crazy expensive, satellites did some of its job cheaper, and eventually enemy tech started to improve, but the core philosophy stuck, speed as dominance. What fuels the SR-72? The endless cycle of outflying, outsmarting whatever the enemy throws at you. From blueprint to battlefield, if they can actually pull it off. This isn't just another plane upgrade, folks. This is tearing up the blueprints of how wars are fought. The Blackbird? That was a spy flick on fast forward. The SR-72 is like a Michael Bay blockbuster, all explosions and enemies left wondering what the heck just hit them. But let's face it, we're in early concept territory right now. Big promises, lots of special effects, but will it even leave the hangar? Getting a plane to hit hypersonic speeds? That's about bending physics, not tweaking existing designs. Picture those high-speed car chases where one wrong turn is a fiery disaster.
In between the two of them, oh, and that's a big crash into the
Now
wall.
do that with forces a human body barely endures.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, making this a reality will take some serious genius or utter madness, depending on who you ask. Then there's that superhero movie secrecy. Military tech loves that stuff. But it makes you wonder, are these mind-blowing specs real, or a way to make your enemy sweat while playing catch-up? But get this, what if the US actually does crack the code? Suddenly your fancy missile systems are slow-motion fireworks. You gotta rethink defense from the ground up. That's what makes the SR-72 exciting and scary in equal measure. It's not just a weapon, it's a forcing function for how wars change. Now, about that insanity we call R&D. This stuff's where sci-fi gets a Pentagon budget. You can bet every success comes with a ton of failed prototypes and dollars burning up faster than the SR-72 would on full afterburner. In a world where everyone's got drones and hackers are messing with your satellites, maybe it makes sense. Or maybe it's a wild gamble when smarter, cheaper tech wins wars. That's the real question hanging over the SR-72. Even if it soars, when the dust settles, what really was the smartest use of those billions? The engineering hurdles, making hypersonic dreams real. The SR-72 isn't just about going faster, it's about defying current limits of flight. Imagine trying to make a car engine handle both a daily commute and breaking land speed records. That's the core problem SR-72 engineers face. Hypersonic flight, that's Mach 5 plus, needs an entirely new way of thinking about engines. For reference, the experimental X-15 used rocket power. Amazing for short bursts, but terrible for a long-range mission. The SR-72 likely needs a combined cycle engine that acts like a normal jet for takeoff and landing, then shifts modes for insane hyperspeed flight. These exist mainly as theories. Next up, there's the heat. Flying at hypersonic speeds means insane friction. We're talking surface temperatures hot enough to melt certain metals. To keep from becoming a flying puddle, the SR-72 needs exotic materials. Super expensive, hard to work with, a maintenance nightmare. Plus, there might even be the need for complex cooling systems, making the plane heavier and less efficient. But speed alone is not enough. To be useful, the SR-72 needs to be controllable. Think of those high-speed car chase scenes where a slight turn goes wrong. Now imagine doing this at several times the speed of sound. Hypersonic flight means the rules of aerodynamics get all wonky, forcing engineers to rethink how the plane reacts to pilot commands. Price tag of progress. All this innovation comes at a monumental cost. Bleeding-edge military projects chew up dollars, and the SR-72 is no different. While real figures are classified, experts bet we're taking billions for research and development. Remember, similar technology leaps, like stealth fighters, required crazy investments up front. Even if they solve tech problems, will it be worth it? Think of a single operational plane costing tens of millions. More than even the legendary SR-71, which by the way is estimated to have cost $200,000 to $300,000 per flight hour. Plus, we haven't even factored in exotic fuels, ground crews, special parts. The SR-72 is guaranteed to be a budget buster in the long run. But here's the thing, this level of spending is the reality of military tech. Nations chasing that leading edge often have to bet huge in hopes of a game-changing return. Could the SR-72's speed deliver victories justifying the price tag? Or will alternative hypersonic missiles make it obsolete before it even flies? Those are the tough choices this super-secret project forces us to confront. China's perspective, outsmarting the speed demon. Right now, China doesn't have a plane that can touch the SR-72's proposed capabilities. The SR-72 is about sustained hypersonic speed, plus the ability to spy and strike. That's unique. China has fast military planes like the WZ-8 drone, but its strength is more about long-range snooping, not outrunning defenses with sheer speed. However, China is definitely working on hypersonic tech, but their focus right now seems to be missiles, not manned jets. Why? Because achieving short bursts of extreme speed, think missiles designed to evade defenses, is technologically easier than making a hypersonic fighter jet that a pilot can handle, with long-range surveillance and bombs on top of all that. If the SR-72 project does succeed, China has options. There's nothing saying they need to match it plane for plane. China's military playbook often prioritizes cost-effectiveness. Let's say the SR-72 takes flight, but each one costs a gazillion dollars. China could instead make tons of smaller, cheaper hypersonic missiles to overwhelm it. Or they might disrupt the SR-72's fancy sensors and navigation with electronic warfare. Thinking even bigger, China's already good at cyber attacks and knocking out satellites. If they crippled the systems the SR-72 relies on to get around, its speed suddenly might not matter. This is what we call asymmetric warfare, finding clever ways to counter an enemy's strength instead of a head-on competition. It's like an epic martial arts movie. It's not always about who's fastest or strongest, but who can be more strategic and exploit their opponent's weaknesses. In that sense, China might focus less on building their own SR-72 and more on making life really, really difficult for the hypersonic beast if it ever becomes reality. So who would win, US or China? The SR-72 could seriously shake up a China showdown, but there's a lot of ifs involved. Will the tech deliver? In theory, it's a game changer, but in reality, cutting-edge military tech is notorious for having teething problems, especially when pushed into wartime conditions. Also, warfare isn't fought in a vacuum. While speed is incredible, superpowers use everything at their disposal, and China knows this. Knocking out satellites that guide the SR-72, using cyber warfare to blind and paralyze whole regions, disrupting trade to choke off critical supplies. The SR-72, as cool as it is, doesn't solve those problems. So who do you think would win, the US or China? Let us know in the comments below.